Hello, this is George from Ireland, and here I am reporting on my post-mortem about the 2017 UK general election. So, the main points. The Conservatives have been re-elected, but they're going to be a minority administration. Theresa May is still Prime Minister, but there's some pressure for her to stand down as Prime Minister because the Conservatives have lost over 20 seats overall. Jeremy Corbyn has defied expectations. He did much better than anticipated. They gained over 30 seats. They clawed back some in Scotland. Another upset is the Conservatives have gained 12 seats in Scotland. This is their best result north of Hadrian's Wall since the 1980s. It's staggering. Let me see, the Liberal Democrats have gained slightly up to 12 constituencies. I should say that not all the results are in. What else? The SNP have gone down from 50 members of Parliament to 35. But that's still a magnificent result for them. They weren't going to repeat the annus mirabilis of 2015 this time. Plaid Cymru had a net gain of 1. UKIP lost their single constituency, as widely predicted. The Greens held Brighton, hugely increased their majority, but they didn't manage to gain Bristol East. Let me see, in Northern Ireland, it really is just a two-horse race. The DUP have now got 10 members of Parliament, Sinn Fein have got 7, the SDLP has been wiped out as a parliamentary party, likewise the Ulster Unionist Party, partly because Sinn Fein regained Fermanagh South Tyrone, the most marginal constituency in Northern Ireland. And what else? Oh yes, the independent unionist Lady Hermon still has down north. Yeah, so that's about it. Many of the pundits got it wrong. Now, the thing is, almost everybody said the Conservatives were going to win, as indeed they did. A lot of the media, particularly the BBC, has been really doing down the winners. The Conservatives are still in office. Let's not lose sight of that. The SNP is still by far the largest party in Scotland. So let's not make this seem to be too negative for them either. So Corbyn's chance of carrying on as leader is greatly enhanced because he did much better than had been widely anticipated. Some big beasts have lost their seats. Nick Clegg, former Lib Dem leader, is out. There was a chance of him coming back. Sir Vincent Cable was re-elected, as I predicted, in his old seat of Twickenham. He may well be the leader of the party. There was another astonishing upset in Richmond Park and North Kingston. Sarah Olney lost her seat. She won that in a by-election just a year ago. That's because Zach Goldsmith stood down over Heathrow. He said, if there's a Terminal 3, I will leave the Conservative Party. Stood as an independent and lost. He's back in the Conservative Party, which doesn't make any sense, as they're still going ahead with the third runway. He did at least honour his election pledge to stand down when they decided to go for a third runway. Another astonishing thing about it is Richmond is one of the most pro-Remain constituencies in the UK. He's a hardcore Brexiteer, but yet he's still been elected. So if we look at the percentages, the Conservatives got about 42% of the vote, Labour about 38% of the vote. So Labour's done much better in share of the vote than was widely expected. The Conservatives have done about as well as expected. One of the surprising things is a lot of the young people who said they vote Labour actually did vote Labour, and youngsters tend to have one of the lowest turnout records of any age category. UKIP has lost so much of their share of the vote. They were up on 14%. They're now down to only 2%. So the party is going to disappear within a couple of years. Another notable thing, Wales, Labour did very creditably, 49% of the vote, by far the largest party in Wales. And the Liberal Democrats have been wiped out in Wales. Even in their darkest days in the 1950s, when the Lib Dems had only, or Liberals as it was then, had only 6 members of Parliament, they always had at least 2 in Wales. That was a third of the party. Now, for the first time since the Liberal Party was founded in 1859, that third party has no representation in Parliament from Wales. They're doing all right in other areas of the country. They're up to about 8% as their share of the vote. Let me see, is there anything else? So yeah, that's all for the moment. So are the Conservatives going to carry on as a minority government, perhaps go into coalition with the DUP? I think they should have done that straight away last time to give themselves a comfortable majority. The DUP, would they have a formal coalition? Would they demand that one of them is Deputy Prime Minister or Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, perhaps? But they're not talking more about confidence and supply. They're keeping their cards very close to their chest. Theresa May has not come out and made an announcement. It was her decision to go for this early election. All the indicators seem to augur well for it, but for some reason the campaign went really badly for them, went very well for Labour, despite their calamitous interviews with Jeremy Corbyn, with Diane Abbott, who hadn't mastered the fundamentals of a brief as Shadow Home Secretary. So there doesn't need to be another parliamentary election for 5 years. It's doubtful that the Conservatives can hang on that long. They might be minority government, they might face no confidence motions in the House, or they might choose to go early, especially if there's a new Prime Minister. If Theresa May is forced out, who could take over? Boris Johnson was an obvious name, but he's perhaps too much of a buffoon. David Davis, The other leadership hopefuls are defeated last time, like Andrea Leadsom. I don't think so. Michael Gove, just possibly. We'll see. So this election certainly hasn't been boring. The Conservatives, by rights, should have done far better. Their share of the vote was creditable, almost as much as Blair's in 1997. But for the Tories, this is not 1983 all over again. Theresa May has not had a Thatcherite-style triumph. So we live in uncertain times. So that's all for my election post-mortem.